I really want to stop making videos about these people, but I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen the Emerson Drive music video, You Drive Me Crazy, with Erika, whatever the hell her real last name is, because she didn't take his last name. And that was before they were married, anyways. Allegedly married. I'm not even sure they were really married and that's really their kids, but that's besides the point. So people are talking about, the fact that she's on a zip line and she goes past 910. Um, here's the thing. All of this symbolism already had meaning, and it already has meaning to these people, even if you don't factor in everything that's happening. So some of this is like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? There are a couple things I want to touch on though. Like I said before, the Ricky Santoro is Barry Santoro, and the reason why I'm 100% positive of this and that this is not just, me reaching, is because the head of the United States represents power. That that's why near the end he had to go away for corruption, because the United States is corrupt. So the woman is basically at the end represents, transmutation of the soul. And the reason why they're using a female is pretty simple. Divine feminine had a virgin birth of the light, darkness to the light. The light sacrificed itself to become sin, so it became darkness again. And then the darkness is supposed to sacrifice itself and become the light again. And if you look at the cover of Perfect Circle 13th Step, you'll see a woman who's being illuminated on the cover. This is why. That is essentially the virgin birth. And you'll see that they have a slug shaped like a tetragrammaton under one eye. Whenever you see that shape in logos, that's why it's there. It comes from the tetragrammaton, which is four corners of the earth. This is new heaven and new earth. That's why it's a 13th step, because you have the 12 zodiac, and then the earth and the North Star count as 13. The 13th zodiac is the snake charmer. The serpent is the spine, or basically, God, Satan, depends on how you look at it. So the snake charmer is God. We are the serpent. However you want to look at it, that's basically what's going on there. And that's why if you look at zodiac calendars, it starts from the center point. If you look at a clock, it starts from the center point. It swirls around the center point. We went from polar to solar, but that's a whole nother video in itself. So in the music video, she marries an actor named Tyler in real life. Again, Tyler is, this comes from, they were the tile layers. So Freemasons were tile layers. So Tyler comes from tile layer. So this is why Tyler became the guardian of the lodge, or essentially heaven. Peter is Tyler. He is the guardian of heaven. So Malchus, in the case of Snake Eyes, would be Barry Soetoro. It would be Obama. And in case of the Trump ritual, it would be Trump. Trump would be Malchus. I always thought he was the red heifer, but technically we would be the red heifer in that situation. We would be the sacrifice, and we very much are. So the woman in the movie obviously would have to represent AI, because if the United States is going to go through a transmutation, that would be the only thing possible. And I haven't gone back to look at it to see if there's a connection there, but there's a lot of connections to like things that actually happened. But it'd be, again, chicken or the egg, which came first? So did they already have something planned for 9/10? Probably. Was it exactly this? No. Probably not. They had to change shit. And Charlie Kirk was only like 3, so the names are, like I said, the names have symbolic value. So is it a coincidence that he ended up being named Charlie Kirk? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, who is he really? Does anybody really know? I mean, what was his role always to do this? Don't know. But it's an interesting question. In the movie, or in the music video, she goes past 10:10. That represents wholeness, completion. And then 9:10 is the eve of 9 even. And she's marrying Tyler because she's marrying heaven. She's marrying God. And marriage actually comes from this. So when a man marries a woman or a woman marries a man, like it's two halves coming together to make a whole. It represents becoming one. So basically going back into the womb before the birth of life. And the birth of life is the birth of the universe. Uni, there, us. One truth, us. And if you actually want to get into Einstein's theory of relativity, I mean, he was Jewish, so I mean, from God's point of view, what do you think it is? And I mean, this even goes back further. The Big Bang Theory. The guy who originally made it, he called it. What did he call it? Something, something. The universal atom, same thing. Atom, atum. So it's all based off the same exact thing. And he actually related it to the cosmic egg, and the cosmic egg is why Africans were elongating their skulls. So to represent the cosmic egg, it represents the universe and the world. When people talk about the firmament, it's talking about the cosmic egg, and they actually drew this as like nut in Egypt, life in a nutshell. Your skull would be that shell. Mork and Mindy, man, like he came down and he hatched out of an egg. This is something that you would see pretty commonly across cultures. But it's the virgin birth within. That's what it represents. So, like, they shaped it. The reason why they took that shape, it has nothing to do with aliens, man. Jews turned it into aliens, uh, just to create confusion. The aliens actually represent AI, but I'm not even going to get into that. There's a whole code for this, and I'll talk about that some other time. But the reason why they shaped them like this, and I'll do more videos on this and actually show you where I'm getting this from, but they were shaping them like the skull of a gorilla because they wanted to embody the strength of a gorilla. And this is also why Jews named themselves Jews, because they wanted to embody the strength of the characters. And this is why they named it Israel, because Israel ate all its children. Saturn, us, ate all its children. He's us, Jesus. And this is why when you get married, they give you a Saturn ring, one ring to rule them all. But if you look up a picture of alchemical marriage, you'll understand exactly what's going on in the marriage in Revelations. You're the rider on a horse that gets a new name. This is what's supposed to happen. And when you marry God, you become a vessel for God. That's actually what a biblical Jew is. But they also came up with this word in the 12th century, and then they retranslated all these texts in like the 15th century after they got a printing press, and they added that word in. It wasn't written like that originally anyway, but that's what it's based off of. I mean, you go back to the Nebuchadnezzar Chronicles and Babylon, I think. It's either Babylon or Assyria, one or the other. I think it's Babylon. And they talk about the Yehudi, not the same thing. The Yehudi mind trick. Yeti mind trick, come on. Not the same. They want you to think it is, but it's not. So anyways, and I kind of picked up on something. So anyway, it's showing the woman ascending in Snake Eyes. It's showing the woman ascending in the music video with Erika. And then, this is kind of what's happening in real life, because now that Charlie's character is gone, you're seeing the woman ascend, and she's all happy about it and ecstatic, and she can't wait because now she gets to play her role. Now the focus is on her. But, I mean, like, I did notice something, though. So, before I said George Zinn linked everything to Salt Lake City, 9/11, and this incident. Well, 3 bombs in Salt Lake City, and then you have 3 towers, 9/11. Well, and in this instance, they tried to make Charlie Kirk Judas and Jesus, which is ridiculous. He knew what he was doing the whole time. He got paid millions of dollars to lie to people, put them into Christianity, manipulate the crap out of them. And this is what Freemasons do. If you look up a video of Atlas Childs, a 5-hour video of Freemasonry, the whole thing, he's lying about what it actually is. The symbolism isn't evil. And I posted a video in my post from another Freemason. I don't know if he's running this lodge or what, but he kind of lies about where the symbolism originated because he made it more recent. But I mean, if you want to be technical, Freemasonry is recent, but the symbolism in Freemasonry goes back thousands of years. It's not recent, and it's not evil. It's where all of these stories came from. But one thing that he says near the end of the video is like, why is this door the only door open? Why is this thing blue? Why are they doing this with their hands? He starts to just point some things out and questions that you should be asking. And if you look at a movie set, nothing is random. Everything is there for a reason, like even the clothes that they wear. And they're making the hand gestures in every single scene. You just don't realize it because they do them really fast. It's like they do it for each other. The only way you'll notice, you start hitting pause and play over and over again. You really take a close look. The only reason I know that is because I was trying to take pictures of everything, and eventually I started to notice things that nobody else would notice. And it's just like micro-analyzing every little detail. That's how I started to figure some of this out. And because I was doing this with the intention to put it on YouTube, and the reason why I haven't done that is because I don't know if they'll hit me with a copyright. And anyways, so I noticed something. This is linked to, the Ukraine girl. Well, how many times did she get stabbed? 3. So Jesus Tyler, 3. How many people died at the Trump ritual? 3. This is on purpose. This is very, very symbolic. And by the way, when he stabbed her on the train, that was his blood when he was walking out. He cut his hand open. That wasn't her blood. In fact, you don't really see her blood until you can't see her anymore. And then a minute or two later, it just came pouring out of nowhere. There's like a little bit on the seat under her ass, but that doesn't even make sense to be there because she wasn't dripping out. So I don't know where that came from. And that whole thing was really, really weird. Even before I caught on to any of this, I was just like, is this real? And I mean, think about it. You can only see two killings on social media. Only 2. Where are the rest of them, man? Where are the rest? Why can you see these 2 things? And I want to address one thing from the last video too. I said that the security guard of Charlie Kirk is the same guy that was in Trump's security or whatever. It's not. I think the reason why people started doing this is because the bearded guy in the plaid that completely stands out, that's standing behind him, is that the guy that was 6-time Emmy Award winner who helped design squibs? And by the way, I posted this in my community. They actually make these little tiny squibs that are like the same thing that you would clip a microphone to, same size, and they have an on-off switch. And the guy that designs these things was talking about, like actors would forget to turn the off switch, turn them off, so they were running out of battery. So they're battery operated. That's why he does this. And the guy that everybody's saying, oh, he had a palm gun. Well, he does put something around one of his knuckles, which is really weird. But at one point, he looks at the guy behind Charlie, and he goes, 5, and he points. And this is around the time Charlie does this, and a minute later, he goes 4, and he points at him again, and he looks over his shoulder to make sure that the dude is on the roof probably. He looks like right at it. And, then he does this on the exact second. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence, but it's definitely not a palm gun. Like, it's stupid, man. Like, nobody could do that. When that guy went over to Charlie, he was smiling, by the way, the whole time. He was smiling while they were moving him. So I don't know how anybody believes any of the official story because everybody's lying. And at this point, like, they're basically just screwing people. And that's what they've been doing for years now. All these people. And when I've watched, movie reviews like Leave the World Behind and other things like that, the people that are doing the reviews, they'll be using like red and blue lights, and they'll show you exactly what to look at, and then they'll just lie about it. And I've seen it on pretty much all of them. So like all the symbolism, like what it really means, is not on the internet, not in any huge way Some of it is, some of it isn't. They basically, there's some things that they don't mind telling you, but they never give you the full picture. You have to figure it out, which means you have to study all these things. You have to study the art, you have to study the statues, you have to study the myths, you have to study like just the stories in general and the pattern and like it's literally it all adds up, but you have to spend a lot of time looking at it in order to figure out what it is. So like it, and I'm not, and with the snake eyes thing, I'm not even saying that like, oh, they plan to do this. I don't think they had the exact scenario, but they had something. They definitely had something in mind. They wanted it to be done during Obama's presidency. It just got pushed back, and then all this other stuff. And there's another thing I want to talk about too. You know how Candace Owens is saying she saw the footage from behind him. Look, I don't believe anything any of these people say. I don't think there is any footage. I don't think the camera in front of them was on. The guy was standing there with a cell phone and that wasn't on, and he was pretending to record. I think the reason why they got in an argument over the camera behind them is because the dumbass left the SD card in there. I don't think he was supposed to. And you know, somebody tried to say that was a hologram thing. You know how dumb that is? They spent $80,000 on a hologram to hide Charlie in a trapdoor when he would still have to use a squib in the trapdoor, and then they would have to pull him out of the trapdoor to carry him there. Like, what would be the point of that? They have to do the same thing anyways. So why? It makes zero sense. I mean, 0 sense. And it's all just ridiculous thinking. But yeah. So anyway, that's why she marries Tyler, because Tyler's the Garden of Heaven. It comes from the tile layers who were Freemasons, and Peter would be the guardian of heaven. He would be the Tyler with Malchus, because that's essentially what his role is. And then it just carries over. So the names are very symbolic. Everything is very symbolic around all of this, but that doesn't necessarily mean a one-to-one carry over. It could, it might not. It's very, very questionable. There's definitely some things that they played off of, but which came first? And that, you know, they were already going over things like this, but they could have, when they made the movie, it was 1998, and that was, they definitely didn't plan to do it this far out. And like anyway, I'm not sure they were married. I'm not sure they were really their kids. I don't know if this was just like an identity they gave him. Like, their stories of how they met don't even match. Candace Owens and the story of her husband and how they met don't even match. They gave different accounts for how they met. So, I mean, I don't know how widespread this is, but these people are definitely given a role. It's just like celebrities. Every single time a celebrity's on camera, they're acting. WWE, they had contracts that had made them act off script. Trump is like a 40-year veteran. They definitely know which president is going to be president when, or at least have a rough idea. You don't, like, none of that is decided by the people at all. It's so stupid. I don't know why anybody thinks they have any say in any of it. But every single time, like, they're just playing a role, and that's why they love Trump, and then they flipped on him. It's just, I don't know how people didn't catch on. Like, how is it that these people went to being friends to automatically just like, oh, like, you know, like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And even when they meet on these talk shows and these podcasts, like I think I touched on this before, they have a teleprompter that you can't see that they're reading off of. They sign NDAs and they do rehearsals over like, they have a phone call where they go over everything, and then they do a rehearsal, then they do it for real. So, like, even when they're on the stage, when these actors are on the stage for like talk show hosts, they've already rehearsed all that. That's not the first time they've done it. And I mean, it's not like every single detail is necessarily micromanaged. If you have like 4 or 5 people on one show, it's the host job to try to redirect them back to where they're supposed to be. But I mean, essentially speaking, they're all working together. And then here's another thing too. This is how you know that you should never trust a word that Candace Owens says, because she defended Andrew Tate. If you haven't figured it out yet, guess who runs OnlyFans? Guess who makes money off OnlyFans? So guess who's accused of sending out handlers to get the girls together to make money for OnlyFans? Like, it's so obvious. He was in the mafia, and like he was literally in the mafia, and he bragged about it. He's literally said he killed people before. So, I mean, like, where do you think he learned how to do this? You think he just woke up one day, hey, I'm just going to get some girls together, man? Like, no. And then she wants to pretend like he wasn't trapped. He used a 15-year-old to coerce other girls into doing it. This is literally Epstein-Maxwell scenario. So who do you think he actually works for? Yeah, I know, he talks shit on Israel, but use your brain for a second. So... And then you have like the WhatsApp or whatever, where they have all the OnlyFans girls on there. Where are they finding these girls, man? That's not normal. Who the hell has an endless supply of OnlyFans girls that they could just keep coming on the show and they could just do stupid videos together? And guess who was on the show? Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. And the fact that Erika was accused of child trafficking. I mean, come on, man. They're all covering for it. And then you want a list of who's on. Pay attention. Everybody's on that fucking thing. Literally. You just gotta pay attention. Everybody in Hollywood is throwing up Masonic hand signs. They're all doing it in every single scene. The directors are writing it into the scripts. The symbolism is in everything. It's the same story repeating over and over again. Every TV show, every song, every band, even the band names often have something to do with this. So you expect me to believe that why do you need a list? Why do you need a list? I mean, seriously, at this point, it should be pretty obvious, especially if they're sitting there talking to you in front of a microphone on a platform, especially if they come out and fucking sparks are flying everywhere. Anyway, all of them, dude, it's all of them. The list thing, it's just nonsense to keep people distracted. None of you paying attention. And like I said, I'll eventually do a video on the symbolism for there's a couple different things, a couple different codes that tie together. You got an alien code, which is AI. You got a goo code, which is RNA soup. And then you have basically an autism code that go along with it. And there's a reason why these things are linked and what it's actually linked to, which is what they did and why they did it. And they put it in things since 1940 with the Manhattan Project, when they first made the flash, because they did that with the first particle accelerator, where they were trying to test radiation on these people without telling them. Then now they have to sign an NDA about it. They tell them now, allegedly, but they don't tell us that they're doing it to us. So I don't really believe them. But Bill Clinton made them sign something into account. But I mean, CERN was created off the same concept. That's why they create. It has nothing to do with demons. All the things on here that people are talking about are 100% fake. It's ridiculous nonsense. They simulated the Big Bang, and they use it so basically it leaves leftover particles behind, and those particles are how they made Romulus and Remus. It's how they made the RNA for the thing, and it's combined with a computer algorithm. Anyway, it's transhumanism. It should be obvious, and I don't even know how that's not obvious, just because all these talking heads won't come out and say, hey, this is what happened. They know about it, and instead they're just like, hey man, it's got to be from Wuhan, right? No. I mean, they might have worked on it. It was kind of co-collaborated, but no. And I mean, they remade the Flash after they made CERN to update the code. This code goes back thousands of years, but they designed their own version of it that has to do with technology, because it all comes from science. So as the science was updated, they updated the code. It evolved with us. So they just kept adding on to it. So they have their own code based off the original, combined with the original. And in order to figure out what the hell they did, you have to look at all of it. You have to look at all of it. You really have to learn how to dissect it. And I mean, people like Ian Carroll, I mean, come on, man. He's way too happy about everything that they do. Hey, did you see what they did this time? Like, and he's using red and blue lights. You actually pay attention. He uses them on his face. It's faint. It's faint. And if you look at his logo that he used, I know what that is. And that comes from alchemy. All of this comes from alchemy. How do you think he ended up there? I mean, come on. He just blew up out of nowhere. And you think it's a coincidence. They give you when they do new things, every single time they risk exposure. So they got to give you new people. And these new people then become the voice that you listen to. I mean, this is what it means by Mockingbird. You're literally just repeating the bullshit that they tell you to repeat. That's what it is. That's literally what it is. And I don't know if it's as bad on other things like Instagram as it is here, but YouTube is terrible. It's almost a total waste of time, because they're just, every single place that you look, they're lying, they're misrepresenting everything. They don't want people to figure any of this out. And it's designed to keep you from doing it. But, I mean, like, they lie to you everywhere besides the symbolism. And it's like, you know, Serge Tankian had a pretty good point when he said it's really hard to lie with the symbolism. Why would he say that? You ever wonder? Could it possibly be because they're lying to you all the time, and that's the one place that they can't do it, and they have to be honest? They lie to you in the media. They lie to you on social media. They tell you the truth in Hollywood. That's where the truth is. Break the code, man. I can help fill some things in the meantime, if you're willing to listen, but you got to put the work in yourself. I could show you some things too, but this is like, it's hidden meanings within hidden meanings. So even like, it's multi-layered, and I can't teach every single layer unless like I'm literally with you all the time to point out what the things are in the logos, what they're doing. But I mean, it's just crazy, man. And keep in mind that even when people join a lodge, they lie to you there too. They make you work for it. They just give you a bunch of books and they leave you be for the most part. You got to earn it. You earn your way through it. And then once you get far enough, if you figure it out, and if they think that you're trustworthy, they might bring you into the inner circle. And that is if the lodge is connected. I don't know if every single lodge is connected to it. I can tell you that most of them know nothing about it. Most Jews probably know nothing about it. But there's definitely a point where they intersect. And you can thank the friars in the Catholic Church for it, because really it started with the Catholic Church. And this is just something that allowed other people to take advantage of. And it's not just them. Like Islam did the same thing. It's all tied to different banking sects, so that compete for influence. So banking came from merchants, so trade and stuff like that. And the reason why Africans basically ended up getting screwed is because they stayed in one spot, everybody else left. So everybody else left, they started to cover more ground, and then they developed these trade routes, and that's how they gained influence. And over time, they started competing with each other for the most ground to cover. Meanwhile, these other people are still sitting back at home. They never left. And one thing turned into another, and then like basically all mainstream religion today is tied to banking empires. Different banking empires. They're not all the same. And this ended up being split kind of three different ways between the Catholic Church, the British, and then Jews that surfaced 1,000 years ago in Germany. They ended up taking over the Holy Roman Empire during World War One. So power has kind of shifted hands within these groups, probably more than once, and they kind of just keep doing the same thing. But I don't know if I can't. This what they've done with Zionism though is just crazy. It's like they've taken it to a whole nother level, a whole other level than anybody could have even thought they could do. So I mean, if something eventually rises that's equal to that or worse, I'm not going to be surprised. Other people have already tried using the same tactics. They started doing some stuff like that over in India. And India had a huge, like, keep in mind, Britain set up the Mughals there and then they destroyed them. And the reason why Jews called themselves Mughals in the first place, because they wanted to embody their strength, their ruthlessness, and their richness, their riches. That's why you have this Mughal here and this Mughal here. It's just some vanity type shit. But that's why they called themselves Jews. That's why they called themselves Israel. Like this transition, once you marry God, biblically, that's how you become a Jew. But that word, it comes from the 12th century. They added it in after they made printing presses in the 15th century. So they rewrote everything and they added that in. That comes from Nebuchadnezzar Chronicles, which would be Yehudi. And in this case, it's a Yehudi mind trick, Jedi mind trick. It's not the same thing. It literally just means vessel for God. But they wanted to embody the strength of these people. I'm pretty sure I already said this. I'm sorry. I have slept 3 hours last night. But I also wanted to put this out there. I should probably stop talking now. Anyways, yep. But yeah, if anybody has seen the footage from the camera right in front of them or behind them or anything that they actually filmed that day, you should let me know, because I don't think that's a thing. I don't think they did. I don't think they filmed it. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered way more ground than I meant to here, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah. Anyways, I hope this is making sense and this isn't a total waste of your time. So, if 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 you're learning something, please let me know. That way I know that I'm not wasting my time, because there's not a lot of people even viewing this. You know, everybody wants everything flashy and I get it. I get it. You know, this is kind of boring, but at the same time, it's I hope at least this is more educational than any of that. All right.